But we also want to get to some other top stories that we are following for you right here on Live Now from Fox. And it has to do with a big hack that happened recently, and it was just announced by US Treasury. They say that Chinese hackers stole documents in a major incident. And right now that is being discussed, of course, in different avenues here as Chinese state-sponsored hackers breached the US Treasury Department's computer security guardrails this month and stole documents in what Treasury called a major incident, according to a letter to lawmakers. The hackers compromised third-party cybersecurity service provider Beyond Trust and were able to access unclassified documents there. So a major security breach that we want to continue to talk about right here on Live Now from Fox. And I want to bring in our next guest here this hour to help break down this breach and what it can mean. So this is Nathaniel Bradley with Data Vault Holdings. He is the founder and CEO. Thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Nice to see you, Mike.
All right, so let's get right into this for everyone that's watching. You think about, okay, Treasury, big department there, has to do with a lot of, we're talking about the safeguards really of our economy. And with this breach, what does that mean? And what were you thinking when you heard that?
Well, leading into this, there's been a lot of talk about TikTok and its approach with our youth and how they've penetrated they have the number one app in US youth. And now this attack, which is, again, the Treasury is going to have documentation there that gives you insights to American life, almost every aspect. And there's a tremendous threat to our businesses and to our communities when you look at this particular breach, which happened through a third-party source. So Beyond Trust, cybersecurity company that's a third party to the Treasury, has provided a security key that's utilized at workstations. And this is what ultimately it's not revealed to us how that security key got into the possession of these Chinese hackers, but that indeed was the process or the form of attack here was the ability to obtain access to work terminals by using a security key provided by Beyond Trust. So that in addition, to what I was thinking when I heard about the attack was really, the ongoing assault on our data and the use of it by our enemies with respect to understanding every aspect of the United States and how we.
There are so many different things happening over here. Just listen, just the fact that hearing that the U.S. Treasury, where all of our economic information, our financial, like all the money that we have, right, that they were breached by Chinese-backed hackers. It's an absolute mess, and the fact that it happens through a software that the US Treasury uses, which although they said that they got access to non-classified information, how far away is the classified information for the Chinese backed hackers to get to? And it's not even about classified or unclassified. It's the fact that they're able to get into the US Treasury's computers through a security key for Beyond Trust. I'm not too familiar with Beyond Trust, but it's a bit crazy. It's a bit crazy that our U.S. Treasury is what is like the Chinese are going after our U.S. Treasury, and they haven't said when this actually did happen, but we know that something actually happened. So it's a bit scary. It's a bit scary. So let's keep watching a little bit more and see what exactly is going on here.
Live, how we operate, what our businesses are involved in. And these insights give, the Chinese government insights into their own communist regime. They are able to adjust and see information that it was proprietary to us and proprietary to our nation. So it is a very concerning threat.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you could paint a picture for our viewers. So when a hacker gets in through this third party and they're able to access some of the computers that are part of the Treasury Department, how do they then navigate? Okay, let's pull this file, let's open this up. How do they navigate going through all that, and what are they? Or do they have an idea of what they are looking for? And is there more roadblocks once they're in to try to get more data?
Well, this time of year, it's a interesting time for the attack. The end result for the hacker is as if they're sitting in the chair in front of the terminal, with the key to access everything that terminal could do. Likely during normal course of business, individuals would notice that activity. Typically, this time of year, we're away on vacations and other aspects where those terminals could be accessed and be utilized without the instant notification. Now, I would state that the FBI, the US Cyber and Infrastructure Security Agency, have had a rapid response since they learned of the breach. And in this case, it appears that they had rather.
The key word is since they learned of the breach. The question is, when did the breach actually happen and how long have they been in there and snooping around? And how do you know it's just classified information that they were able, or unclassified information that they were able to get access to? How do we know that they didn't get any access to anything more? But the paper trail that they left was for classified information. It's like that's where my mind starts to go. But another thing that is, it's like, well, should this information be able to be accessed remotely by US Treasury employees, or should it be locked down? I mean, it depends. I guess it depends on the sensitivity of the information, but at the same time, as an American citizen, whether it's classified or unclassified, I don't want a foreign government getting hacking into the systems of any government agency, to be honest with you. So the question is, like, should we be able to trust VPNs and accessing critical government information remotely, or should it be in a always in a protected area? I don't know, because what about like when you have the people working in the field and stuff like that who might need to connect to different terminals and workstations? So I don't know. That's an interesting debate to have there, because back in the days, I'm not saying this for the government, but just before there was all this technology where you can connect to this computer here, you'd have to take paper notes, and then once you get back into the office, then you'd have to input it into the system, doing the filing and the classifications and the documentation and all that type of stuff. So that's another thing to consider, But let's keep going with this.
Quick response. We've had other breaches by other hackers in our government where these Trojan horses have sat for months and months without detection. This seems to be more of a finite or an acute attack where specific documents are taken. And again, that's just my view of it. But with respect to the response of our government, we do have extremely strong infrastructure and response mechanism. We're the best at this in the world with respect to cybersecurity. We lead the world in that, and that bodes well for our continuing to lock down these systems. But again, once data has been breached and taken from us, we'll never get it back. And I would just reiterate with respect to the use of TikTok and the kind of foregoing issue there, where we struggle as a nation between the utility of the technology and the privacy around it. And these are becoming key issues as we involve more and more technologies into our families and into our businesses. There is a privacy encroachment. And when you talk about a foreign government having access and having information about our personal and our business relationships, our overall strategies can be revealed. These are all things that we must fight against, and we have a great mechanism in this country to do that.
Nate, those are all such a great.
I'm not entirely sure why he is so focused on TikTok, a social media provider where um, China could or could not have control over and have access to people's dance videos and stuff like that. I just don't see the correlation to the US Treasury being hacked by Chinese-backed hackers. I think he's trying to make a connection to, I mean, I'm not sure how influential this person is, but maybe trying to sway people's mind like, oh, because Chinese-backed hackers, China state-sponsored hackers breached our US Treasury, therefore we like TikTok is bad. I'm not saying the connection between the two. But you know, let's keep going.
Responses right there. And I'm just thinking, you could have so many different safeguards. You could have so many different protections on a computer or just an infrastructure. But like, as you said with TikTok, if you are welcoming that, you are downloading that into your software and say, hey, come on in. Here's my phone. Here's my data, right?
Yeah, I don't need to put a bug in your place of business if your 13-year-old is sitting right across from you and I have the ability to record, to get information from those applications. So it is a video app, and that is video is so revealing, with respect to our environments and where we are and who we are with. So these are all things that other governments, when they learn about us, it can create vulnerabilities. And when you look at the tensions that continue to rise between our two nations, or between us and the Chinese government, the idea that the United States has an apparatus around our cybersecurity infrastructure that simply needs a high prioritization with respect to our domestic and foreign policy.
It seems like if you were an international adversary hacking group, maybe the best way to get into American lives is not trying to just infiltrate, through a computer the old way, but to come up with an app that is, goes viral, and then you can just come on right in.
Sure. And look, this particular.
All right, this is starting to sound more and more like propaganda, and I don't even use TikTok, to be honest with you. But they started talking about the U.S. Treasury being hacked by China state-sponsored hackers, and now it's all about ranting on TikTok. So we're done with this video. So let's get the show started for today. Welcome to another episode of The Bug Bite, hosted by your truly tech coach Ralph, where we're engineered to win. We are in season 3, believe it or not, season 3 of The Bug Bite. We don't miss. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy New Year's to everyone. So happy to have you here with me for another one. Yes, another season of The Bug Bite. We just watched and commented on some news reporting that the U.S. Treasury was just recently hacked by China state-sponsored hackers, and that they got in and got some, non-classified information, or that we know of that they've tell us. Because guess what? Would the federal government actually tell us if China-based hackers got actual classified information? So let's figure out what's going on. I'm not shocked, but I'm appalled that, for how many years now, China's trying to do this, trying to like through this app and through that app and this and that, but it just moseyed on right into through the front door of the U.S. Treasury, and who knows what they got. So what I want to do is I want to read through an article from TechCrunch, one of our favorite websites, through TechCrunch, to see what they're talking about with this cybersecurity attack. But with that being said, guess what? The China-based hackers unethically hacked the U.S. Treasury. They penetrated the U.S. Treasury. They weren't doing penetration testing, but guess what? At the end of the day, ethical hacking, non-ethical hacking, penetrating the U.S. Treasury, penetration testing, it's the same thing, the same results. Ethical hacking, we do that so that we can safeguard against these China-based, Iran-backed hackers wherever they're from, even people from within who's trying to steal data, release it, ransom, stuff like that. That's why we are doing the ethical hacking course from Udemy live on Thursdays so that we can get a better understanding of how ethical hacking works. We're going to do the projects, the setups, and stuff like that. We're not going to watch the videos, but we are going to be going through it. So the expectation is your homework is watch the videos, get ready, and then we're going to be doing it together live on air so that we can get a better understanding so that we can, like, if you're a software developer, software engineer, right, and you're thinking about building your own applications, well, you need to have protection on those, right? You need to actually test your own application as well. And if you hire somebody to test it, you should know what they're doing, the protocols and stuff like that, right? So that's why we're doing it. The link to the course, to the Udemy course, is in the description of the video. So sign up. I'm looking to get started on it in a couple of weeks. So just wanted to make that announcement. Check it out. All right, so let's jump into this article for today from TechCrunch to see what it is that is actually going on here. So this article comes from TechCrunch titled, US Treasury says China accessed government documents in a major cyber attack. Let's read on, written by Zach Whitaker, December 30th, 2024. So it says the US Treasury told lawmakers in a letter Monday that it was hit by a cyber attack earlier in December, which the department has attributed to Chinese government hackers. So it says earlier in December. It doesn't say actually when in December. So it could have been December 1st. And they could have been just moseying on in there. And then midway through December, it's like, oh, snap. There's somebody who shouldn't be in here, right? So in the letter shared with senior U.S. House lawmakers, which TechCrunch has seen, the Treasury said the hackers gained remote access. That's why you hear all this RTO for the federal government, right? Return to office for the federal government. Remote access to certain Treasury employee workstations. I want to know, who are those employees? And has access to unclassified documents in what is described as a major cybersecurity incident. The unclassified information doesn't matter. It's the fact that they were able to find a way into the US Treasury. Crazy. Total craziness, right? It says, the Treasury said it was notified on December 8th by Beyond Trust, a company that provides identity access and remote support tech for large organizations and government departments, that hackers had gained access to a key that is used by the vendor for providing remote access to technical support to Treasury employees. So the key that they used is the key used by the vendor. Ooh. So they got access to an employee terminal. So that's an employee's workstation through the key used by the vendor to provide remote tech support. So it's not even necessarily the return to office. It's the fact that the vendor has a back door into the US Treasury, right? What prevents the vendor from just going in there and just looking around, see what do we got? Because if they built it, they surely can have a way to hide what they're doing in there, right? Beyond Trust disclosed the incident at the time, but did not say how the key was obtained. A spokesperson for Beyond Trust did not respond to a request for comment at press time. The letter said the department engaged U.S. Cybersecurity Agency, CISA, for assistance, and as of December 30th, it had no evidence indicating the threat actor has continued to access Treasury information. Okay, well, I mean, who knows what they got before then? They could have did a data dump. Who knows? So this is very, very worrisome, all right? However, if the IRS information is stored within the U.S. Treasury, I hope they did a hard delete for people who owe back taxes. I'm just kidding. You see, now they're gonna come after me. That was a little jokey. That was just a little jokey joke. All right. I'm just kidding. Nope. Everybody, pay your taxes. Okay, pay your taxes. All right. It says the Treasury confirmed in a letter that attributed the breach to a China state-sponsored advanced persistent threat group, indicating backing from the Chinese government. It's not clear which group was behind the intrusion, and a spokesperson would not say. In a brief statement, Treasury spokesperson Michael Gwynn said that the hackers were able to remotely access several Treasury user workstations and certain unclassified documents maintained by those users. Treasury takes very seriously all threats against the system and the data it holds. Over the last 4 years, Treasury has significantly bolstered its cyber defense, and we will continue to work with both private and public sector partners to protect our financial systems from threat actors, the spokesperson said. This is the latest cyber attack linked to China and has targeted the US government in recent months. China-backed hackers dubbed Salt Tycoon were behind a wave of cyber attacks targeting US phone companies and internet giants, including AT&T and Verizon, in a bid to access the private communications of senior government officials, including presidential candidates. You remember, isn't that what we just reviewed last week? About the FBI saying that they have, like, foreign entities have access to our SMS messages. We just reviewed that last week, but it's a slow drip because guess what? At the time that they said about the SMS, they knew. I'm pretty sure they knew about this. That the U.S. Treasury was attacked, and they have access to private communications of U.S. government officials. So it says Liu Pengui. Hopefully I said that right. A spokesperson for the Chinese embassy in Washington, D.C. denied the U.S. government's attribution of the cyber attack to the Chinese government, arguing that the U.S. did not present evidence of its claim. So China is saying we didn't do it. We didn't, or at least we didn't back it. It might have been some Chinese people who did it, but we did not back it. All right. So we're going to wrap this up for today. Let's go back to full screen. There you have it. The U.S. Treasury was hacked. They were hacked. And although it was access to unclassified information, guess what? You and I still don't have access to that unclassified information, but you know who does? The Chinese backed hackers in the Chinese government. You know who does? Probably Iran, probably probably Russia, probably North Korea, and everybody else who hates us. So we need to get our stuff together. There's so many if you're working in tech, right? I'm pretty sure you have to take these security trainings where they're telling you about social engineering, about phishing, about all that type of stuff. And the tough part about this is it's not necessarily the U.S. Treasury's fault that the hackers got in. Kind of is, but they got in through a third-party vendor key. But the fact that that option was on the table does fall on the U.S. Treasury. But what are they supposed to do? I don't know. Because back in the days when somebody had an issue, they would either have somebody on site who can fix it, or they would make the tech person, the IT person at the company would call the provider and they would have tech support walk them through it, but they didn't have access to the machine. Now they can have somebody just call somebody up and say, okay, let me connect to your machine, boom, 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 boom. But guess what? The person connected to your machine might be hackers stealing unclassified and most likely classified information as well. What do you do? What do you do in that circumstance, right? I don't know. But we'll find out. My friend, he's not gonna like this, because this kind of strengthens the case for the return to office for the federal government. But I don't even think, even if they were in office though, it wouldn't have solved the problem because it was through BeyondTrust's vendor key. So is the next step, well, vendors must come on site. Vendors need to have multi-factor ways of authenticating if they need to connect. Because if you go to connect and it just pops up, okay, what's the security? And you have it, then boom. Food for thought. But here's what you can do. You can get started by possibly learning a little bit more about ethical hacking, setting up Kali Linux, setting up, Wireshark, and how to infiltrate networks ethically so that you can at least protect your own application, your company's application. You can do some bug bounties. And to do that, join me on Thursday nights, where we're going to get started learning about ethical hacking. We're going to install the virtual machines on our computers, Kali Linux, and start going through the course, start learning. The link to the Udemy course is in the description that I'm going to be using to go through this class, and we're going to learn together. We're going to run it up, right? Because I want you to not only learn about cybersecurity, have the opportunities to land a job in a company, but also be able to participate in these bug bounties and stuff like that. Get paid, right? Nothing's guaranteed, but if you don't do anything now, then I can guarantee you this: you will not get anywhere, right? So, link for the Udemy course is in the description, and we can run it up together. On your way out, do me a big favor. If you liked this video, like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you know every time that we go live and drop new content. If you need one-on-one coaching, check out techodrop.dev. We can run it up together. We can win, as well as tons of exclusive content on how to level up your tech game and your career skills. But until next week, until the next episode of The Bug Bite, this is Techo Draft. We are out.
You're caught in a glitch. What's the fix this time? Chasing down bugs. Oh, it feels like a crime. Every software tale got a story to tell. In the world of tech, it's a digital swell. Watch us dive deep in lines of code, finding the truth on this heavy load. Welcome to the Bug Bite, we unveil the fight. In a world of software, we'll shine the light. From errors to dangers, we'll guide your way. Stay tuned for the scoop every single day. Cyber shadows lurk in the data stream. Hacking our dreams, is it all just a scheme? From the latest news to the viral threat, we break it all down, you ain't seen nothing yet. With every bug found, we take a stance. Join in the rhythm, give tech a chance. Welcome to the Bug Bite, we unveil the fight. In a world of software, we'll shine the light. From errors to dangers, we'll guide your way. Stay tuned for the scoop every single day. Hit the subscribe, don't miss out the fun. Together we'll conquer one bug at a run. We'll guide your way. Stay tuned for the scoop every single day. So hit that subscribe, don't miss out the fun. Together we'll conquer one bug at a run.